Technicalities. Man, you should have seen me freaking out in the background, guys. This is Talking Comics. We are back with our so-called monthly video that I have with Triple G and James. How you guys doing?
Very good.
Ew.
Very good. Excited to be back talking all things nerdy with you guys.
Always
Yeah,
a pleasure.
I love doing these videos with you guys, but besides just going live talking to you guys, I like talking to you guys in the background, in the behind the scenes, so to speak. But this is a monthly show that we do where we basically ask each other three questions. We don't know what the questions are. We just have three questions and one bonus question. But before we go any further, Peter, do you have any comments?
Yes, we have people in the chat. So we have got good old Dr. Von Hoot saying evening all. Nice to see you, bud. We've got Bat Dan. Nice to see you, mate. Looking forward to catching up with you at Thought Bubble. We've got Andy Roberts. Always nice to see you, Andy. And we have got the main man, Fuzzy Dunlop himself. The last time three guys had this much fun, it was Freaky Friday night at P. Diddy's house. Wow, Fuzzy.
Oh,
wow. That's the
brutal,
level
man.
we're going for here. Gee gods.
Yeah.
And we've got Von Hoot saying it's peeing down. It's horrendous where I am as well, mate. It's absolutely slashing it down all day. Wearing shorts because both pairs of work trousers split in the wash. In the
same time?
Are we sure? Are we sure, Von Hoot? You weren't doing.
You didn't have a
lunges or anything
drunken
like that, were you?
stumble, maybe,
Yeah.
or something, running for a train. Yeah.
Yeah. Terry, dead man. Good evening, people. Nice to see you, Terry. Hope you're well. And lube me up. Ugh.
Heard that one
Ugh.
before.
Fuzzy. Yeah. Okie dokie. That's all we've got at the moment. I'll keep jumping to the chat. In the comments, please, ladies and gents, can you just let us know how our sound is sounding as we prattle on, because we've had a few technical issues, but we think we're on track.
James is trying to help me. I was like trying to help out a child, by the way. But
my life.
It's like the granddad from The Simpsons, isn't it? You know what I mean?
That's what you get for going on video with two old guys. Do you know what the settings are? How do you
Luddites over here. Yeah.
Efren's wearing headphones, but we're not confident that it's doing anything other than keeping his ears warm. We're not sure if they're actually working or anything, but we'll get there.
So, Yeah. So, but this show, basically, I thought it up about half a year ago now. I invited Peter, first of all. We asked each other, we started with 5 questions. And then I thought, why isn't James on with us? So, we do this on a monthly basis, but we cut it down to 3 questions each, comic book or entertainment related, 1 bonus question. And at the end, we have a bonus segment, an extra bonus segment at the very end. But you guys ready to go?
Yeah, well, just before we do, we're all right. Well, I'm already getting grief in the chat from Chris. You sound awful. Geordie accent. He's Welsh. How dare you? How dare you? Shocking behavior. Right. What's our first question then, Efren?
I have the first question. Okay. This one I've thought about for a long time. I go, God, would I ever do this? Would you ever want to own a comic book shop? I'll go first since it's my question. In the past, yes, when I was still working, I got, God, I think it'd be pretty cool, but that's my idea. It'd be cool owning a comic book shop, but it's a business, but in the past, I have considered that I would want to start my own comic book shop, but obviously I never did, just a dream. What about you guys?
So back in the day when I was a wee nipper, I did a GNVQ, which was a qualification in business and finance, because my parents owned their own businesses. And that's what I wanted to do. I did a business plan and all kinds of stuff to own a comic shop. As I've getting older, I have to say, I've realized that you've got to shift an awful lot of new release comic books to make any kind of profit. I think you've got to be really churning it out. So I've kind of resigned myself, Efren, to that's almost my retirement plan and hope that once I quit work and get off the rat race, as it were, I'll probably use my collection and get myself a little stall in some kind of indoor market thing somewhere where I can just sit and just read and pretend to the wife that I'm trying to sell stuff, but really just hope that people come and talk to us. But that's the aim, hopefully.
I think you need some type of business acumen, which I don't have. I think I would just go under after the first week. What about you, James?
I think as a passion project, I'd love to, but you'd have to have another revenue. I'm not convinced. Now, particularly, is a good time to open a new comic book shop. I think they are struggling, with digital comics. You'll go to any comic shop, like you'll get most of the merchandise there cheaper online. So like I think it is a struggle. I always dreamed of like having a like comic book shop meets a cafe meets a cinema meets a kind of thing, like a nerd heaven kind of place, you know. But like that would be like if I won the lotto as my fun side hustle, you know, do something like that. But, I mean, it would be cool, but I think it would be a very venture to go into now.
I think you're right, James, and I think, you know, for me, I don't know if you've got them over in Ireland, but over in England, we've got a franchise called I think it's called Geek Retreat, and basically,
yeah, we used to have it in
kind of like you
GameStop.
described. You know, it's a cafe where they also sell comics and graphic novels, but you also can play kind of Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. I've been in a few of them, and the friggin' stink. It always seems to be.
It smell of BO, yeah. Because nerds smell. Like that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't appeal. But honestly, I think you're right. Bricks and mortar, you've got a lot of outgoings already in terms of rates and electric and all that kind of stuff. You've got to shift and flog a hell of a lot of comics to actually make any kind of profit, I would have thought.
Pay
Do you know what I mean? They can't be making much money on a standard issue, you know, in terms of your profit margin. So yeah, I'm not sure. I always used to, opposite the comic shop I used to frequent in Whitley Bay, there was a shop that just sold eggs. That was it. Nothing else. You couldn't get anything else there, just eggs. And I used to think that's got to be some kind of Sopranos drug den or something. There's no way you can make a living just selling a dozen eggs a day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you do one thing and you do it well, do you know? I suppose.
Eggs.
Like
eggs. How
like,
many eggs have you got to shift to actually get yourself your tea that night?
That's a fair point. I think for me, like I would love to go into like a superhero themed bar, you know, and comic books. There's comic books there you can buy if you want. Maybe that's only a small part of it, you know.
Like Planet Hollywood, but for comic book kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like Superman cocktails and that kind of stuff. And like there's maybe like some of the newer comics and some merch you can get there, but like it's not the main income source, you know.
Yeah. Great.
I mean, to be honest, most of my comic books that I buy now, I buy them online.
Yeah.
I mean, I go to a comic book store every now and then, but most of them I just buy them online now because they have a better discount. At least here where I live in the United States. You know?
No, it's the same here. And I kind of feel, even when I go to conventions and things, I kind of feel a little bit sorry for the comic shop because you go in and I don't know what you guys do, but I look at the price on the book and I'm straight onto eBay to see if I can get it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, exactly.
9 times out of 10, you can find it cheaper.
Or you see a book you know the price of and it's like double what you know it's worth. So you don't even look at the rest of the stuff because you're like, this stuff's overpriced.
Yeah.
Going to quickly jump to the chat. And we've got 17 people watching. Thank you very much, everybody. Please do make sure you hit like and subscribe on Passpoint Comics, Triple J Comics, and James T. Keegan / One Good Scare Show, whichever one of those you fancy. So Chris is saying, I would hate it just because I know I'd be stuck with a BO guy talking to me about Silver Age.
Well, that is the thing. And like it's funny, but as well as that, like there are a lot of people where they go in, that's might be the only like human interaction they have is the guy at the comic book counter. Like I've been stood there waiting to talk to a staff member at a comic shop, and there's a guy spouting on, and you feel sorry for like you feel sorry for them, and you feel sorry for the staff member as well, like having to talk.
I went to I did a shameless plug. I did a video on my channel. I visited a shop down in Sheffield, I think it was, area. And the guy was only open Fridays and Saturdays. And you went in, it was a great little shop, lots of back issues and stuff like that. Got some good stuff there. But he just couldn't give a shit in terms of selling stuff. He was there because it got him out of the house for a couple of hours during those days. And he sat and he read his comics. And if people came in and bought, because it was in the middle of an industrial estate, you'd never find it unless you were looking for it. You know what I mean? There's no foot traffic, I guess. But he was happy as anything because he was just sat there selling bits and bobs. It was great.
Well, that's side hustle then, I guess.
Yeah. Phil saying Geek Retreat lasted about 2 months here in the north. Yeah, I can imagine. Right? In the 80s, being a geek meant people bought comics. Nowadays, being a superhero fan geek is more down to movies, TV, a real shop would petrify me nowadays. I think you're right, Fuzzy. It's certainly shifted, hasn't it? And we see that in the convention scene, don't we? We've got Sean here. Nice to see you, Sean. Hope you're well. We've got Andy, Perpetual Comics Evening Panel. James on a comic-related show. I'm assuming there's a Scooby-Doo thing.
I actually did have a Scooby-Doo question, and I didn't submit it this time. So
we can do it next time.
We'll do it next time. We'll do it next time. Yeah. What's your favorite Scooby-Doo episode? Fuzzy Dunlop, we had an out-of-date shop when I lived in Bradford. Everything was past its sell-by date. Unbelievable.
Can you do that?
Well, yeah, as long as it's not by its, what is it? It's the best. You can sell
Use
best
by
before, but you can't sell.
And then use by, yeah.
Hey, I love a whoopsie sticker in Asda or wherever it is.
A what?
A whoopsie. That's what we call it. You get a big yellow sticker.
Oh, I love them. I
yellow
exclusively, that's the first aisle I go to when I go to Tesco.
I'll push grannies out the way to get a hold of a half-price sandwich. You know?
Marks and Spencer's. So I've never bought anything full price at Marks and Spencer's.
If you go to Waitrose, a whoopsie sticker on Waitrose is still basically full price at any other shop.
Exactly. But you're getting the fancy one. You're getting the Waitrose version. You know, so like, it feels...
The rented charge for business premises these days, if you start with $1 million, you can become 1,000. And that guy was Peter James. Be nice. Wow. Harsh.
Yeah.
Good question, that one, Efren.
All right. Your question is up next, Peter. You ready?
I can't even remember what I sent you. But yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. So this, I mean, we've talked about this in other shows and things, but I'm interested to know your thoughts, guys. And I'm interested to know what the chat think, because I've been a little bit negative about this. Excuse me. So this is the new Absolute Universe coming out. I think it might be this week. We get the new Batman, Absolute Batman. The images of him look a little bit weird. He's very bulky. His bat sign detaches and becomes a battle axe. This is basically a bit of like an ultimate version of the DCU. We're getting Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Now, I'll answer first, but I'm interested in your thoughts, guys. I started off really negative and, oh my God, it looks shite and the images look terrible and blah, blah, blah. But I'm getting more and more excited as time goes on. The Superman in particular really appeals to us. The Batman looks interesting. So yeah, I'm excited and I'm going to give it a go. What about you guys?
There's a twist to the Superman one, isn't there? There's like a...
So there's a twist to all of them. So all of them are...
The Superman one again?
Well, basically with all of them, if you imagine, they're just down to bug basics. So Batman has no butler, no millionaire, all that kind of stuff, no Batcave. Superman, I think there's no Park Kent and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember what it is with his powers. There's something weird about his powers as well. I can't remember. But
maybe he's just leaping again or something like that. It's still early. I think, you know, it's an interesting avenue to explore, like what makes these characters the characters, you know, like Batman's not necessarily just the money and everything. So I think that's cool. Gives them a new, like, you know, you can do whatever you want with the stories. I think that's another cool element as well.
Yeah.
Does this have to do anything with Absolute Power, the miniseries, or separate?
I think it's a separate universe. Okay. I mean, Fuzzy in the comment knows more, but I think it's a separate universe from what I understand.
Okay, so I agree with you. When I first seen the image of Batman, I mean, so big and bulky, I didn't like it at all. I go, that to me, that's not Batman, but I'm willing to give it a chance. I haven't even read anything about Superman or Wonder Woman yet. But I'll read a first issue of any new comic book, and I'll give my opinion. I'll give it a go because I'm always into it. Like the Ultimate Universe, it's been like this is a third or fourth go around, and it's really good. Especially the Spider-Man book. But yeah, I'll give it a try. But I hate saying going a little bit negative about it, but just the way Batman looks, it just does to me. That's not Batman.
Are you reading any of the other Ultimate lines? Because I'm reading Spider-Man. But I gave up on Black Panther and Avengers or Ultimates very, very early on, I have to say.
I have been reading them. The only one I gave up on was their Ultimate X-Men one, right?
Oh, Peach Momoko. God, yeah.
That was terrible. I quit reading it. I hardly ever give up on reading a book, even though, it's a book that I always want to read comic books, but you were telling me about it, Peter, and I started reading the first 2 issues. I go, I can't finish this. I stopped reading it.
I mean, I'm sure for some people it'll have been great, particularly those who like anime kind of stuff, but or manga, sorry. But for me, it just did nothing for us.
Nothing.
Jumping in the chat, Fuzzy saying it's not out for a week yet. I thought it was this week. They seem to have been pushing. They've missed a trick there, then haven't they? Surely they would have released a new Batman tale when it was Batman weekend or whatever it was, or had here recently, Batman Day.
Oh yeah.
Snyder never fails. I disagree. He's done some poor stuff.
Did those the extended editions of the Rebel Moon, did they come out yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, I haven't watched either of them because I was waiting for like the actual version.
Is that the same Snyder? But are we not talking? So
Scott Snyder. Sorry, I lost track. Yeah, I thought there was a reference to a Zack Snyder thing earlier.
Hell, man.
Yeah,
Jesus.
sorry. Okay, well, apologies.
He's not freaking Scooby Doo. He's not interested. I trust Snyder can pull it off. Nice to see Heroes for Hire Club. Yeah. I mean, he does do some good stuff. I'm being negative about him. I'm trying to think what I didn't like that he wrote recently. I can't remember.
I remember you bitching about him not too long ago.
I don't bitch. I give a balanced view. Andy, Superman is still. Andy, Jesus. I'll probably hate myself, but I've ordered all the beginning titles mainly because I've liked the Absolute Power story leading up to it.
Yeah, so
I
have
only read issue 1 of that. Is it good, Efren? Because I only read issue 1.
Oh, Absolute Power, I love it. I think it's just going to be a 5-issue series. That's why I asked you if it was like, are they related? But I don't think they are. But Absolute Power, I really have enjoyed that series. They have this one splash page of what happens to Superman. When he's flying, I go, whoa, they're really getting into this. I think you've seen it, the splash page of what happened to Superman and Absolute Power #1 when he got shot.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, I was like, dang, man, they're not messing around.
Yeah. I'll probably read that when it's finished in the kind of a format. Chris, Snyder frequently fails, though why he's on it when he's on it superb. I'm not happy it's effed up my searches for absolute editions. Yeah, it's I don't understand why they've gone down that route, actually. I want this to be great. Please don't be
let me down.
Don't let me down, DC. Yeah. How dare you, Chris? People accept the Ultimate Universe. DC are doing this, and even Power Rangers are starting a new phase. It's all the same thing. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the Power Rangers one. Wonder Woman uses witchcraft in this. Yep. Okay. And Superman's cape is made from Krypton dust. That's right. I knew there was something weird. Excuse me. He kind of looks like the old Frank Miller looking Batman. Yeah, he does. Frank Miller. You guys seen the Sabretooth?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Why is that man still? Can you just are they just not able to say no to him? Like he submits a thing, it's like that's it.
He's an icon for sure. So I don't know.
Yeah. Ultimate Guardians and Ultimate Hawkeye. Ultimate Hawkeye is an interesting one. I wouldn't have thought. I mean, has he ever really maintained an ongoing series, Hawkeye?
Just miniseries.
Yeah. Interesting. Rebel Moon Extendeds have been out for a couple of months.
Okay, I should watch them at some point.
I didn't even watch part 2. I couldn't bring myself to. I just couldn't bring myself to watch it. Part 1 was pretty dire, to be honest, and part 2 got horrendous reviews. I have to do something to keep the characters going still. Yeah, me and Efren have talked about that a lot. They absolutely do, but Andy's ordered 5 copies of that Sabretooth. That'll save you on toilet roll.
You never know.
Yeah, Jim Lee Batman cover is better take on the costume. Yeah, I like the Jim Lee one. I love the G one, but I half agree with Andy. Superman is God. Name me one good Superman story. Phil, I'm not. Do you know why? Because I know you're just kind of needling at us. You're trying to get us to bite, and I'm not going to do it, Phil. I'm not going to do it. Just a shameless plug. I do have a Superman show coming up shortly where we'll be naming top 10 Superman stories. But there you go. There you are. Question done, Efren.
Okay, James, you're up next. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, you're on.
How long should Hugh Jackman play Wolverine? So, minor spoilers for Deadpool 3, I guess, but there's a reference in it to the fact that Hugh Jackman's going to be playing Wolverine until he's 90. And I think like they've been talking about, it seems by the end of that movie that he's going to be around for a bit longer. So, like, how long do you think they should keep him? Like, I know obviously he's iconic. He's the only person really to play Wolverine live action. Like, do you feel like he should stick around for another 5 years, 10 years, or should we just get another guy in soon?
I think a little bit longer. When they introduce the rest of the mutants, have him there. What's the next Marvel movie? Is going to be Secret Wars or the Doctor Doom one?
I'd imagine it'll be Secret Wars. He'll show up in.
Okay, next. I think he should show up then. Maybe the next 2 or 3 films, but then just get another actor. I mean, he is getting too old. Even in the Deadpool Wolverine movie, I looked at him, a couple times. I go, he is getting older. You could tell now. You know, he's in his 50s, I believe.
Yeah, because he's
But I
supposed to be
think he
ageless,
should.
isn't he? Like,
Yeah, Wolverine. It doesn't age
yeah,
basically. He
yeah,
does age, but he does very slowly because of his
yeah.
healing factor. I just think maybe about 2 or 3 more films, and then just call it a career for Wolverine. I mean, for Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine.
I think Secret Wars should be what kind of word line in the sand point. I'd like
Yeah.
to see him in Secret Wars, but then I don't want to see him after that. I don't think. And I tell you why, and this sounds awful, but I love Patrick Stewart. You know, playing Prof X, all the rest of it is fantastic. But I think it was Multiverse of Madness. There was a few scenes in that, and I thought, you really are starting to not just look your age, but sound your age.
Yeah.
The dialect's not there anymore, and he sounds a bit kind of quivery and old. And you see that with a lot of the actors that push it till they're very, very old. They kind of lose that what makes them who they were, I guess. So yeah, I want him to keep pushing, and I want to see him in Doom, and I want to see him in Secret Wars. But after that, probably draw a line under it. I don't know how I feel because they're talking a lot, aren't they, about Blade, about Wesley Snipes doing a full Blade movie. He was great in spoilers in Deadpool. I don't know if he can maintain a full movie by himself.
Because I think part of the joke in the movie is that he's a bit outdated. Like he uses like the R word in there and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know about that, but I think like for Hugh Jackman, I agree that I think Secret Wars should be the send off to all the legacy actors. I think, and you just stop doing that after that point because it's getting old. So I'd like to see a Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman team up kind of thing, and that get all like the older ones to save the Avengers, and then that's that line in the sand done.
I mean, there's rumors that there's going to be a Wolverine a Hulk movie, and I mean it goes on and on. I think these Marvel and them, they're going to keep on offering them money.
Oh yeah,
until they can't do it anymore. Who would say no to that amount of money too? That's another thing.
But at some point, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, at some point it's going to look silly. Do you know what I mean? If Wolverine's lost his shape and he's a little old man, it doesn't have the same draw.
He might drastically age overnight. Like he's at the point where he's hitting that age where like it'll be, but from one movie to the next, you go, oh, he's gotten old now. Like it'll be like a Roger Moore Bond thing, where it just looks a bit weird.
They'll do an old man Wolverine movie.
Yeah, I think they could do that. Yeah, Old Man Logan. That would be good.
Old Man Logan.
Yeah. No, that would be great.
We got that though. We already got. No, I know it's not accurate. It's inspired by more than an adaptation, but like.
I mean, the Old Man Logan, the initial Mark Millar tale, is friggin' amazing. And if you did a version of that based on the MCU,
with Hulk and
with
Maestro
the Hulk and with all that could have potential of being a real kind of trilogy or whatever of movies that is stunning. We kind of got it in this mind. We saw the kind of the bones.
That version, isn't there?
Yeah. But that would be very cool. Very cool.
So we've come to the conclusion he's never going to go away.
Just till he's 90.
Till he's 90. Couple of comments here. Chris is thrown bombs of great Superman story, All-Star Superman, absolutely. What's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way is a good one. For the Man Who Has Everything is a good one. Kingdom Come, Phil. Kingdom Come. All those are very cool Superman stories. Fuzzy, well, it's been 25 years he's been playing that character. It's incredible.
Mad.
Wow.
Incredible.
Crazy.
Batman saying the character's a couple of 100 years old. Why can't he play him forever? Yeah. And Phil, this is a great one from Phil, actually. He said Zac Efron. Zac Efron is, I think, got some hellish acting chops behind him, actually.
Yeah. That'd be a good choice.
I could see him doing that.
I love Zac Efron. Like, I love Zac Efron the bits, but I don't know about Wolf. I don't know. He's not like hairy enough, I guess, or
Daniel Radcliffe came out. That's him out. Yeah. Not enough body hair. Screw him.
Daniel Radcliffe. I've also like if you've seen him lately, like he had a problem with his jaw. He's had to get surgery and stuff, so he doesn't look like his face is a bit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, if you've seen that, the Iron Claw, like he looks like mad in that movie. Daniel Radcliffe, I always thought was a good choice. I always thought he'd pull it off. Like.
I was sure we were getting Daniel Radcliffe as patch.
I thought you'd be passionate the same. I thought that as well. Yeah.
Heroes for Hire. He might have a couple more films in him before he hangs up the claws. I reckon so. I reckon they'll bring him into Secret Wars, definitely. Maybe Doom. Chris, I've never liked him as Wolverine. I think he would be like a smaller, absolutely mental, grumpy bastard Wolverine.
Well, if you've seen Deadpool, you know how ridiculous a comic accurate
comic
Wolverine
accurate
looks on screen. So,
Danny DeVito Wolverine. If they put Blade in a Legion of Monsters team movie, it would work. Yeah, I think I can't remember if I was watching or talking to someone about this, but was saying having Blade. Oh, it was the guys over on Sunday Night Show, Super Sorrel Show. You could have Blade as kind of the team leader, bringing in all the younger versions of kind of the Legion of Monsters. So yeah, Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, and Magic, and all those kind of characters, and Blade acting as kind of like the mentor role rather than the physical running around fighting role kind of stuff. We've got Indie Comic Corner. Nice to see you. Please check out his channel. He's got some amazing content out there, just kind of starting out. So please do check him out. He's got some great stuff. Fuzzy, I know, mate. I know I'm disappointed in myself. Phil got us to lose me shit about Kingdom Come. House of Brainiac was very cool. Absolutely brilliant series.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, a few issues.
Yeah.
Marvelous.
All right. I'm up again. So,
Efren, before we move on, do you want to talk do you want to talk Thunderbolts?
I was going to do it at the end.
Okay.
Or you want to do it right now?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. So I thought about this one, and if you could bring back a canceled TV show, which would it be? So mine, this was back in the 80s. I love Cheers when it came out, you know, where everybody knows your name. It's just the jokes, and this show went on for about 10 years. And the last episode I remember about it, when it came out, I was really bummed about that show that it finished. I know all shows have to go eventually, you know, but I really just enjoyed the show, just the characters and just the joking around for the whole series. That was one of my favorite series of all time. If I could bring it back, it would be Cheers.
Good one. My obvious answer would go to some 80s cartoons. I'd love to see a revival of things like Mask or Visionaries and things like that. But I'm going to steer away from nerdy superhero stuff, and I'm going to go for a series that did get a lot of seasons. I think it got up to 7 or 8 seasons, but I loved it, and it never dropped in quality. And that's Burn Notice. I don't know if you guys ever saw that.
Yeah, with Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell in it. Just brilliant. Just a proper kind of week by week silly adventure, but like 18 kind of silly stuff each week. And I just loved it. I thought that was a great little series, some stunning performances, and Bruce Campbell was hilarious in it. So yeah, I'd go Burn Notice.
If I was going nerdy stuff, I would love a final season of Spider-Man the animated series. Have to do like an X-Men 97 kind of thing with that. I think that'd be great. I feel like they are going to at some point. Non-nerdy, there was a show I loved, and it only lasted 2 seasons back in like the late 2000s, called Reaper. So it's about like a comedy show about this like kind of the store clerk, and he turns out the devil manages to make him like a bounty hunter, and he just has to go capture souls. It's like a comedy, kind of like Supernatural if it was a comedy. But I love that show. I love like Ray Wise plays the devil in it. He's amazing. I think it turns out later he's like the devil's son or something. But if I remember right, it didn't have a proper ending, like it just season 2, and that got cancelled. And I was like, I'd love that show. So I would have loved to have seen that continue.
I've got another one, and it's just because I think it's such an interesting period in time. But I would want some of the original cast back. I was absolutely obsessed with The West Wing back in the day. Did either of you guys watch The West Wing?
I've seen bits, yeah.
Not sure.
Never seen it.
Absolutely superb. And I think you could do that really well with all the shenanigans that Trump's got going on. Loads of great suggestions in the chat. Supergran, Efren, have you ever been exposed to Supergran?
Never heard of it.
Stand Back Spider-Man. Supergran was a Scottish granny who got superpowers. It was a TV series and then a book and cartoons and all kinds of stuff. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well worth checking out. Crazy. Twin Peaks. I never really got into Twin Peaks. I tried to, but it was too baffling for me.
Did they have a revival like a couple of years ago?
Was that Fire Walk with Me or something? Or was that the last episodes? Oh, X-Files. Give us a proper series of X-Files. Not convoluted plots, just Monster of the Week.
That's always convoluted, isn't it?
Well, with
Do you know what?
it didn't used to be, but then it just got mental.
I feel like
being pregnant and stuff was weird.
I feel like the Game of Thrones ending was very unsatisfying. So if they came back and said we're doing another season to like wrap it up properly, I would be like, yeah, do that.
Nah, Game of Thrones was all right.
No.
Modern Day Sean's Deadly Class. Phil, I never watched it. I'm obsessed with the book, but I've never watched Deadly Class. I'll have to give it a go. Swamp Thing, yeah, I hear a lot of positive.
Oh, Swamp Thing was amazing. That's
Yeah.
such a tragedy that got cancelled. Unbelievable. Got cancelled like halfway through filming, and then they just like wrapped up the episodes.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Firefly, yep, very. Ooh, Babylon 5. Give us another season of Babylon
there's so
5. You can bring it back, stream it. Yeah. I wish. Justice League Unlimited. Loved that cartoon.
Oh, that too.
And
Yeah.
Avengers: Earth Mightiest Heroes was very cool as well. Yeah. Terrorhawks, Zelda. Yeah. Used to love the Terrorhawks.
Spectacular Spider-Man. Actually, if I was going for an animated series, that was great.
Too many now. NYPD Blue, Panels and Paints. Yeah.
I don't think anyone really wants that, do they?
Yeah. Broadwalk Empire, 6 Feet Under, and Californication. I don't think I ever saw Californication.
That was a
David Duchovny from X Files.
Yeah.
I think that was a movie first.
He's a sex addict or something, isn't he? Like,
Oh yeah, it is David.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
yeah,
Right,
David
okay.
Duchovny.
Nip Tuck used to be good back in the day as well. Do you guys watch that about the plastic surgeons?
No, I've never
Yes,
seen it, but I heard it was
that
good.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your man that played Doctor Doom, Julian
Yeah.
McMahon? You know, yeah.
Yeah. Buffy. I'd love more from the Buffy.
Oh, that
I was
a good
only
one.
talking about this earlier today that I watched the first 6 episodes of Buffy and I just couldn't get into it. I really wanted to like it and I just couldn't really get into it. I don't know. Do I need to watch more?
Had you seen it before? Had you seen
Like
it
in
before?
bits and pieces, but like I remember like 4 or 5 years ago, I sat down and said I'm going to watch Buffy, and
Oh,
just
wow.
5 or 6 episodes in, I just wasn't really vibing with it.
I tried to get my kids to watch Buffy because I'd sold them on how good it was. And you're right, the first season was hard slog.
I just have to get past that.
After that. Yeah, once you
Okay.
get past
like,
that. And I would argue, to be honest, unpopular opinion, but I'd argue probably is that in terms of probably our age range, Angel's the better season.
Well, I love just from that episode where they're all Muppets. I think that's a great like little kooky ideas for episodes like that. I love so that's why I wanted to watch it. I think
Deadwood is a good shout, really really good shout. So when I was talking about actors who have kind of perhaps gone a little bit too far, I was thinking also of the guy who's in Deadwood, who's also in the John Wick films. Because in the last John Wick film, I could barely understand what he was saying. Because
Ian McShane.
Yeah, you could barely speak anymore. So yeah, Alf. Yeah. Early Edition. Interesting little tidbit about that one, Phil. Did you see that? I'm sure it's the same actor. The guy from Early Edition has been cast as Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern.
Oh, Kyle Chandler.
Yeah.
From Godzilla.
Yeah, loved him in
Godzilla
Early
2,
Edition.
yeah.
That was a brilliant little series. You guys heard of Early Edition?
No, never watched it.
So
No.
basically, the premise was each day, was it a cat or a dog? Can't remember. A cat or a dog turns up on his doorstep with that day's newspaper, but it's like the next day's newspaper. So he sees what's going to happen the next day, and his job is to try and avert any tragedies and things that.
I
that
think
might
I
happen.
remember it now.
Really
as you
good,
mentioned that,
really
yeah.
good fun.
He is a very good choice, I think, for Hal Jordan.
I
as well.
think for Hal Jordan, he is
for
yeah,
an
for
older
Hal
one.
Jordan.
I think, yeah. Definitely.
I'm going to skip through some of these comments, guys, because we've got loads coming out, which is fantastic. Really, really love that. We've got Alf as a great suggestion. Quantum Leap. Still never watched any of the remake. Oh boy, I still love the end of the original series.
Yeah.
Still brings a tear to my eye. Sam never leapt home. Just horrendous. Yeah, but great series. Bring back good Star Trek. I'm not sure if Phil's just trying to push us again.
Strange New Worlds is an excellent show right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
Buffy picks up in series 3. Cliff says, "Nice to see you, Cliff." Series 2. Sorry, he's mean.
Season
Nice to see-
3.
Yeah.
Oh, 2.
Once Spike and as it gets better, yeah, I love. Is it Caleb, the preacher, near the end? He's superb. They did a Twin Peaks series a few years back. Unfortunately, it's too unrestrained. The original series was actually funny and charming. The new one, just David Lynch doing David Lynch. I don't remember it. Star Trek, Lovejoy, friggin' Lovejoy. Yeah. Spaced would be good. Yep, Spaced, very, very cool. Fuzzy's never heard of early editions. Well worth checking out. What was the other one I used to love, which was all Mounties? Is that Due South? About a Mountie working in New York. That was very cool as well. Sliders, superb as
I
well.
love that show. That was a
Yeah.
great show.
Very, very cool.
What's Sliders?
Well, everyone.
It's Sliders is a group of, if I remember right, it's a group of people that would go to different universes or different realities, and they're trying to find their way back home. But it was just a good series. It was called
Okay.
Sliders, and
I'm looking at it.
I'm
Can't
not giving it
remember.
proper justice, but it was a really good series. I really enjoyed it.
Can't remember the actor's name. It's a big guy with a big bushy beard who plays one of the kind of the characters.
A great big bushy beard.
He was the guy in Indiana Jones.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Him out.
He's in
That
Indy.
actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the first 2 seasons of early edition. Don't know if there was more. I'm not sure, Deadman. It's one of those series that I don't know if I ever saw the end of, or if it just kind of disappeared from our screens. But I seem to remember they introduced kind of the evil element. So there was someone like the opposite of him who was trying to cause disasters and things, which was quite interesting. Due South. Yep, that's the one I was on about. Thanks very much for stopping by, mate. Do appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Chris is saying it was Due South. Awesome show. Proper mindless watch in the best way. Yeah. And a reboot of Highlander and the Renegade. I don't think I remember Renegade.
They're doing Highlander. The Highlander is in like there can be only one.
Yeah,
They're doing Henry Cavill starring in it.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, it's gonna be
Stahelski, John Mc.
See, I don't know. Highlander for me, I've got fond memories of it, but I seem to remember it not being that good.
I like that original film. I don't think I like the other ones.
Sean Connery's in the second one, I think, isn't he? Or is he in the first one as well? Can't remember.
First one, I think. He's the mentor in it.
Right, guys, we're going to move on now. This is a great question. What
That was a
must
good
make
question, yeah.
Millennium? Yeah, that was when the world was going to end, wasn't it? Because of the Millennium Bug. Farscape. Yeah. Yep, that was Jim Henson, I think, wasn't it? The puppets was pretty cool. Fraggle Rock. Great. X-Files.
We
We'd
could
love
go
to
on
see
forever with this one.
IT Crowd. Yeah. Father Ted would be cool as well. Highlander series was great. Farscape would be amazing. And Sliders was epic.
One last one to throw in: Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. If they do another season of that, that'd be great. It's a good show.
Right.
I got one. I got one more. I don't know if you guys ever seen a Night Stalker.
Yeah.
That was a good one. They did a reboot of it.
Kolchak or something? Or Cole?
Carl Kolchak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that was a good question. We got some good questions for you guys this time around. I think you're up next, Peter. You ready?
Yeah, I'm going dry. What did I ask that for? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, do the creators involved with comic books get enough credit? And I guess I was thinking this because we always seem to focus on the artist and the writer, but there are a whole host of other people that go into making a comic book, whether it's your editor, your inker, your letterer, your colorist, all that kind of stuff. And I think we've all seen comics that have been colored, which have absolutely destroyed artwork. There's some very famous Eric Larson artwork, which you went crazy about because the colorist basically screwed up his image and stuff like that. But we never seem to talk about them. I mean, would you ever go and get an inker to sign your comic or a letterer to sign?
You laughed at me once when we were going to a convention and I said, "Oh, there's the inker from that thing." He's like, "I don't fucking care about the inker."
What do you think, Efren?
That's a great question. And do other creators involved that they do not get enough credit at all? I usually just think of the writer and the artist. That's all I ever look at. But they're the inker, especially. I mean, without the inker, I mean, they go hand, with the artist. They have to collaborate on that. So yeah, they do not get enough credit. And the editor, has to go over it. Now we just think of basically the writer and the artist, and that's it. But it takes a lot of people to get a comic book off the ground, so to speak. So they do not get enough credit at all. When I read a comic book, sometimes I don't even bother looking at the credits. I just want to get into the storyline so quick. But I tell myself, see who's behind the scenes, who does this. There are some great inkers out there.
What do you think, James?
It's very similar to the in films, like we don't recognize writers. Like when all this Marvel stuff, it's like we focus on who's directing it and like who wrote it. Oh, they wrote that crap one we don't like, So I feel like there's you feel like there's a hierarchy where I would argue the writer is probably the most important because the story doesn't exist without them, and then the artist, so they're the top tier. Yeah, inker. I'm just like, I know it's important. Like color is important, and yeah, you can screw up the entire thing
Yeah.
without a good one. But yeah, I don't know. I understand why. I don't feel like it's fair at all, but like I understand why they don't get that much.
I just
much
wonder
juice.
if, you know, how we've had over the recent years, we've had this kind of, rightfully so, emergence of artists arguing to say they didn't get enough credit for the, like looking at Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and all that stuff. 15 years time, are we going to get a kind of a backbite from inkers or from colorists saying, actually, do you know what? I was part of that creative process. I didn't get the credit I'm deserving and all that kind of stuff. Because it does all come together to make the final product, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see what the comments saying. Fuzzy is saying here, the latest Rob Liefeld release didn't credit the inker. Wow. He wasn't impressed on Twitter. I didn't see that one. That's interesting, Fuzzy, because Rob's all about supporting the artist and whatnot, isn't he? So you would have hoped that he would be supporting. Your mother's an inker. Thanks, Von Hood. Yeah. The inker can make the art look better or completely ruin it if done wrong. Absolutely, heroes. Absolutely, I've seen that on lots of occasions. And directors have done a great job of convincing the world they're the ones that make a movie. We talked about this a while ago. I can't remember which show it was on, but with exactly what you were saying, James, when we're talking about the Russo brothers in particular and how they get so much praise for those Marvel movies, but no one mentions the fact that someone had to write Infinity War and Endgame and the emotional impact of all of that.
And they came on and did,
it's their movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Chris, I think inker and colorists do need more credit. Editors too, yeah. As some of these nutters write some mental shit that needs sorting, but they don't get paid more for recognition. And where would you stop? Yeah, that is very true, Chris. Very true. I sometimes forget that the editor holds it all together. Artists and writers are the rock stars, and the inkers and colorists are kind of treated like the road crew. What a great analogy. I love that. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. That's really, really, really well way of putting it. With AI, I'm not sure we'll have proper inkers or letterers in the future. Yeah, that's again another topic for another show, discussing the pros and cons of AI, because it's got the potential to revolutionize everything.
But like, I think I suppose that when you read something good, it never sticks out to, the inking on this was really great, or the coloring. Color, I think maybe sometimes, but like you would usually attribute that to the art. The writing was great in this thing. All the art was great in this thing. You never think about the ink. You know?
Well, it's funny because I think I can't remember what
book it
was. No, I can't remember what book it was, but I remember seeing it was either in a Wizard or something like that. You know, where they show you the stages of the art, the preliminary sketching, and then the fleshed out, and then the inking. And I remember kind of looking and thinking, wow,
how important,
such a difference, because actually beforehand it looked great and now it looks shite, or the vice versa, you know.
Yeah.
I would imagine a lot of artists ink their own work anyway, but yeah, it's really interesting. Editors can hold it all together, but also produce utter cack. Absolutely. Okie dokie. That's all the comments on that one, Efren.
I think you are. Who's next? I think it's James. Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, here you go.
Will an Avengers versus Justice League movie ever happen? Do you think we're ever going to get a DC Marvel crossover? I feel like we're going to get to a point where these movies start to dip severely, and they'll be either that like they'll be forced to out of like necessity, or like Disney will buy Warner Brothers. They'll just own DC. They can do it then. So do you think this will ever happen? I think it will.
I think it's going to happen, but my biggest concern is who's going to be in charge of this movie. You know, is there going to be clashing of two different, publishing companies or two different movie, but who's going to be in charge? I think that might make this movie bomb, but I think it will happen.
Depending on when it happens. Like you have James Gunn leading DC Studios, who has a very good reputation with Marvel, so that's potentially
that's
an
a good
option
point.
there, or he could work with somebody, co-do it with someone from there. So depending. I think it will be within the next 10 years. I think we're probably going to get this movie. Peter, you don't look convinced.
Not at all. No, I think it's a minefield for a whole. Right. First off, would I like to see it? Absolutely. I would love nothing more to see it, but it's an absolute nightmare in terms of a couple of things. First of all, from a financial point of view and a profit sharing, and I don't think you'll get that level of agreement until Disney buys out the other company. You know, that makes it a lot more likely. But for them to come to an agreement, nah, they'll just never. I mean, look at how hard it was to get access to Spider-Man and all that kind of stuff from their own freaking company.
Okay.
You know? So I don't think that would work. The other side of it is just the
price.
No. Well, yeah, the price of the actors.
Budget,
but for me, it's the logistics of writing the story, because none of those companies will want their property diminished in any way. So you get a bit like when we had the Justice League versus Avengers comic book a while ago, fighting between Marvel and DC about, you know, if Wonder Woman's fighting Shazam, Captain Marvel, whoever, who wins, you know? So you face off Superman versus Thor. Well, Marvel wants Thor to win. DC, it gets so,
and you can't have everything end in a draw, like where Freddy versus Jason, where Jason wins, but Freddy. I get that. It'll end up being like Fast and Furious, where like The Rock and Vin Diesel have to have exchange an equal amount of punches.
Exactly,
get knocked over an equal amount of times. Yeah.
And then the other big thing to bear in mind for me is that if it was to ever happen, that's basically the doorway to the apocalypse, isn't it? Because nerd culture will fucking riot. Can you imagine? All the Superman fans will be kicking off because Superman wasn't good enough. All the Avengers fans will be storming the bloody cinema complexes to burn it. It would just be madness.
I mean, like, just imagine at the end of like Secret Wars or something, right? Where like a portal closes and something falls through and fucking Captain America picks it up and it's a Batarang. Like, how people would lose their fucking minds. Like, people would be insane. I think, like, for me, it's escalation. Like, you had phase 1, 2, and 3, and then Endgame. And it was like, okay, we never thought all these characters could come together in a thing, and they did it beautifully, and it ended as amazing. What do we do now? Now it's multiverse, it's variants. We bring back actors from other things. You know, we have Blade coming back, and we have Wolverine coming back, and all these things. Spider-Man coming back, whatever. You finish Secret Wars. Where do you go from there? Where's up from that?
Do you know what's more likely? You absolutely screw and drag every penny from your profits and from your IPs even more. And what's more likely for me is you get a MCU crossover with Star Wars, Harry Potter, something like that. You get an interconnection of the Disney universes.
Imagine. Well,
aliens, Queen facehuggers on the Death Star. You know,
do you know what?
that kind of stuff
doesn't sound that unlikely. That like somewhere in the multiverse is the Aliens universe and the Predator universe and the Mickey Mouse and imagine that. Imagine like just a Disney movie.
I think that's more likely in some form than
DC. Okay.
Unless Disney buys everything and owns everything. You know?
Yeah.
If this ever happens, a minimum of a 3 to 4 hour movie. Minimum.
It would have to be a trilogy, I would imagine. You'd have to do 3-parter.
Yeah. So, good question.
Jump to the chat. Another great question, that one, James. Pardon me. Batman, absolute edition of Killing Joke. Yeah, this is a great example, actually, in terms of colorists. Absolute edition of Killing Joke. You get the first story as it was originally published, and then you get the other version colored by John Higgins and by Boland. Sorry, so you get two versions of the same story but with different colorists, and it's really interesting. Really interesting. Fuzzy's answered that question forward. Nope. I hope not. I would pass out from tutting and sighing too much. Heroes doesn't think it's ever going to happen. Excuse me. It would have to be 2 or 3 parts with the amount of characters would need to make it worthwhile. I think it would have to be 20 years worth of films building up. Do you know what I mean? You'd have to do it slow. And if we've learned anything from Disney and
I think
there would be kind of rush it.
There'd be so much pressure on these studios to make it perfect.
Well, what if it's bad? What if it's not a good movie? Like,
I'd be happy with another comic first, to be honest. Give us another, Marvel.
I think an animated film would be easy enough to get done. I think.
Yeah.
You do Ninja Turtles and crap like that all the time.
It would be a monumental effort. It would also need to make sense story-wise. Absolutely. Justice League versus Avengers comic were a logistic nightmare. Neither side wanted their characters to look bad. Absolutely, mate. I remember reading them back in the day. And I think in the end, for one of them, can't remember whether the open access series or what, but wasn't it down to us and we could vote on who won? And even then, it was a bit dodgy. Very unlikely unless Warner sells DC. I just don't see it. Otherwise, I agree.
Yeah. I don't know if Disney could, like, because you have antitrust laws. Like, I don't know if they'd have a complete monopoly nearly on the comic book market. So I don't know if they could.
We're mourning there's too much superhero films. We can't be making up super teams or geek brains would just explode. I remember with Scott Snyder's metal and death metal run, they broke the source wall. Perfect timing to have Mortal at the other side of that source wall. Marvel at the other side of the source wall. Yeah, we've already got the character as well, haven't we? We've got access from the original DC Marvel crossovers, so we've got a character who's got a foot in both universes. But he just disappeared. They vanished him. A Plastic Man, Mr. Fantastic buddy cop film. Now we're talking. Aliens Avengers is friggin' phenomenal. I'm loving that series. Well worth a read. But yeah, that would be a great movie. Jason Statham and The Rock literally contractually had to have the same word count in Hobbs and Shaw. DC Marvel would be deeply unlikely. Yeah. Dead Man. So not in my lifetime. Harsh. Apologies, Dead Man. That's that one, Efren.
But we have got some good questions this time around, man. I don't know where we're going to top this episode, a bit. But yeah, these are great questions for everybody. I think I am up next. It's my last regular question. What comic book crossover event is your favorite? Talking about Marvel and DC. My favorite was back from the 1970s when I was a kid reading comic books. I think it was the very first crossover event that I read. It was Avengers versus Defenders, when Hawkeye joined the Defenders for a while, and they were after this artifact, and they had, great, fights. The one that stuck out was obviously Thor versus Hulk, so that would be my pick. I forgot what the series was called, but it was a crossover event. It wasn't, a lot of issues. It was only like about a 5 or 6 issue run, but it went from Avengers book to Defenders book and back and forth. So that was my favorite one. It's probably the very first one that I ever read that was a crossover event. That one always sticks to my head about, I really enjoy that series.
That's a hard question. James is Googling as we speak.
Just looking for some inspiration here. Like, I can't, I'm like, off the top of my head, I can't think.
It's too easy of an answer, so I'll not say that. Well, I'll give you this one, but it's not my proper answer. But I really did love Marvel versus DC in terms of I loved the amalgamation characters. When we had kind of Dark Claw, the Wolverine and Batman crossover, and Super Patriot, I think he was called, which was Superman and Captain America. I loved all of those characters. That was great. But I think in terms of crossover, it's still an interconnecting company one. Batan, man. You shouldn't have said that. Just I was thinking Batman, Judgment, and Gotham is amazing. Batman and Judge Dredd. But no, the Batman one I'm going with is the first Batman and Spawn crossover. Not that I'm a massive Spawn fan, but I just really enjoyed that story. And I always remember as a young lad reading it, and the last page with Batman throwing the Batarang and embedding in Spawn's
I remember that.
head. That blew my mind. Just thought it was amazing. So I loved that crossover. But yeah, Batman, Judgment on Gotham is a great shout. Great shout.
I love Batman versus Predator stuff. I find like Batman tracking him down. I thought it was a really cool element. Their fight scenes are awesome as well. So I love the art and the first one especially. I suppose like if you're talking like internally, Civil War probably as a crossover event, like
that's a good one.
Be the best. I would think that's the best ever done. I would feel like the impact of it and the drama of it and everything. Like,
I really enjoyed as well, if we're talking kind of one company crossovers. Me and Efren touched on it when we did the show last week. There was a series that crossed over into a whole host of Marvel titles called Acts of Vengeance, which was basically a cabal of villains led by, I think it was Dr. Doom or Loki, pulled together all the kind of the main Marvel villains in the swap villains. which I thought was a really interesting idea. So you get Doctor Doom not fighting Fantastic Four for a change; he fights West Coast Avengers, or you get the
I
Mandarin,
like that.
you know, the Mandarin who was an Iron Man villain fighting someone else. You know, and I really liked that. I thought that was a great little series. And again, sorry, James, you've got
We're not going to say
another great crossover Company Wild event. You cannot beat Age of Apocalypse, the original Age of Apocalypse series, where
That was a really good one.
stopped and restarted everything. Just amazing books.
Yeah.
I've always felt like Joker and Flash as a fighting each other just matches for some reason. I've always liked that combo together. I think when I was a kid, I might have had a Flash and a Joker and made them fight, and just in my head, they go together really well. Like,
Heroes for Hire is saying Secret Wars, Crisis on Infinite Earths, and Civil War. Yeah, great picks. Batman Judgment on Gotham. Yep. Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think I read the first few issues, but I didn't read the rest of it. I've got a feeling, did I read a Turtles crossed over with Stranger Things a little while ago?
Yep.
Which was weird.
And Street Fighter as well. There was a Street Fighter one. They cross over. There's such sluts. Like crossing over with everything. Like
get figures as well, man. It sells toys. Yeah. Secret Wars was my gateway drug into comics. Yep. So was G.I. Joe, Transformers. Heroes exactly the same for me. Secret Wars is what got me into comic books. The old English newspaper kind of quality comic books got us into it. GLA, GSA crossover that happened every year. Yeah, they were very, very cool. I like the Thanksgiving issues of those as well. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, He-Man out this week. Oh, I'm not sure, Fuzzy. It looks rough.
I don't know about that one.
Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are pretty good. Heroes is saying least favorite crossover. That's a good question.
That'll be a question for next time.
We'll add that to next one.
Yeah,
straight off the top of my head, but I'm gonna say, I don't know if you guys remember an Avengers tale called The Crossing, which they decided that Tony Stark was too old and young kids weren't reading it, so they decided they wanted to get rid of him. So they turned Tony Stark into an agent of Kang, and he killed the Wasp, I think, and stuff. It was awful. Absolutely bloody awful. Star Trek Green Lantern was good. So
they matched together, I think.
Star Trek.
Not a comic book property, but this was a crossover in comics. Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. Yeah. So like, just the fact that we got to have that in any form, I was really happy with. I love that comic book series.
Great question, but Hero will add that one to the questions for next time.
Yeah. Peter, you're up next. I love this question. I wish I would have thought of it, but it's all yours. You ready?
Yep. Would you be worthy to lift Thor's hammer? So what do you think? Who would do that? I don't even remember asking that question. But would you be worthy to lift Thor's hammer? Obviously, yes, I would.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. I got too many skeletons in my closet.
Yeah, right now, no way. Maybe when I first started reading comic books as a kid, or in my early 20s, when I had, I think in my early 20s, I probably would have been worthy of it, in my head at least, but not right now. I don't think I could even get it to move.
It's so subjective, isn't it? What does it actually mean? And when you look at who's lifted it in the past, it's like, I don't know. I think you've got to be someone like Captain America full of the truth. It doesn't mean you've got to be perfect, because Captain America is a soldier. At the end of the day, he shot people, he killed people. Do you know what I mean? It's
just pure of harsh, and pure of spirit. I think you probably get to beat.
As Superman lifted it, and
did he?
Superman in the crossover event.
Avengers. Yeah.
And Beta Ray Bill lifted it when he picked it up that time, and Eric Masterson.
Yeah.
I think even Storm had a version of Thor's hammer. She picked it up. And Wonder Woman picked it up. Maybe I would be worthy to lift it.
I think you're worthy, Efren. Efren's definitely worthy. James,
I hope. I started once I hit 3. I'd say I just started doing some shit that negates me. I think completely.
Phil's saying the only person he knows is worthy is Chris. I would agree with that. This is getting too meta for Fuzzy. Fuzzy, you could lift it. I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
Hell no from Dr. Von Hoot. I don't know if I'm even worthy enough to use a regular. Vision did lift it in the MCU. I don't know if he's lifted it in the comics, that was a bit of a weird kind of thing in the MCU that they decided to add Vision. But yeah.
Who is it where it's like they technically lifted it because they like move the gravity around it or something like that? There's someone who lifted it, but they didn't actually lift it. It's like they made it fly in their hand or something.
Juggernaut's done that before, and
Red Hulk lifted the camera. Lifted the hammer. Red Hulk did it when he went to outer space.
Yeah,
he picked it up.
Right.
I
remember that issue pissing me off because it was horrendous.
Yeah.
Because he didn't just like hold it; he literally used it, didn't he, to smash Thor's head in. Crap. Yeah.
Any more comments? Or are we all caught up?
No, we're up. We're up to date.
I think the next question is James. Ready?
Yep. I can't remember what it is. What's the most disappointed you've ever been with a movie? There was something you were like super hyped, can't wait, it's gonna be the best thing ever. You go in, you're like, ugh, or oh, that was bad. For me, I think it was The Babadook. I remember like there was this new age of horror. I'm not trying to have a dig, Peter. It was this new age of horror movies, like the elevated horror thing, and I just heard nothing for months about how incredible this movie was going to be, how terrifying it was. The trailer came out. It's this like storybook monster thing. Loved it. Thought it looked incredible. Went to see it. It was just didn't like it. Didn't like the story. Didn't think it was that scary. It was just boring half the time. I was so heartbroken. I was so disappointed.
That's a really good question,
man.
Really good question. It's not going to be my most ever disappointed, but I have to say, Beetlejuice. I felt sad that it wasn't better. You know what I mean? It was good, but I felt kind of. Oh,
it was fine. It was decent, consistently decent the entire time. But were you like that excited going into it though? Like, were you really like, yes?
So I've got a one. And again, this is too hard of a question to come up with off the top of your head. I think I need to give this one some thought. But I have to say, as a Superman fan, and certainly as a Christopher Reeve fan, I loved the original Superman movies. And then we got to Superman. Is it number 5 or 4? The Quest for Peace.
With Richard Pryor.
No, it's the one after that. I think.
Okay.
Where you've got the nuclear man, and Superman's thrown nukes into the sun and things, and it just felt such a left field decision to move. Oh, I've got an even better one. I have absolutely got a one where I physically nearly vomited in the cinema. And again, people will jump at us for this one. I'm a Keaton fan. Batman 1, Batman Returns, phenomenal. And then it brought back Batman to being a bit serious and a bit gritty and a bit dark. And then we went to the next movie, and it was Joe Schumacher, and it was freaking horrific. And it was back to campy. I think, if I'm right, that's the Jim Carrey and Two-Face one. And it starts off with like a heist. And then, oh my God,
like acid.
Boiling acid.
Oh my God, Batman.
Gods. And it was just such a shock to jump from the Tim Burton kind of adult version to that shite. Yeah. So yeah, that really upset us.
You blame McDonald's for that.
Yeah.
It's McDonald's fault.
So I had a little bit of time to think about this, and originally, I was thinking about Beetlejuice 2. I was just a little bit disappointed. I don't know what I was expecting from that movie. I have more than one. Now you're talking about Batman, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze one too. That was a terrible movie. Yeah, I was like, dang man, and the bat nipples and everything, with George Clooney. But
how did it go so left field? How did it go from gothic dark to those? It was just so strange.
So this is a very, very old movie, and I think I didn't even see this movie, and I didn't want to see it. My cousin found a bootleg copy of it at San Diego Comic-Con years ago, and he watched it when we got home. I just stood up and I said, I cannot watch this. It was just terrible. It was a Fantastic Four movie by Corman.
You're mad. You're mad.
We loved it. We thought it was great.
I don't know, man. It was an affront to me. I go, this is not the Fantastic Four. This movie,
He actually fucking loved it.
Did you watch it, Efren? Did you watch it?
I watched the beginning of it, and it was at my house. He bought a bootleg copy of it, and I just looked at him. I go, I can't watch this. I walked out. It was my house. I walked out.
Listen, that entire movie is on YouTube, and you can get
Oh,
a,
it is. Okay.
you can get a
Great.
decent version. Watch it, because me and James have watched it and done a review on my
Okay.
channel, and it's great. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's got dodgy
Maybe I'll watch
special
it again.
effects.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, it just seemed like it was an affront to what Marvel should be. I had a higher standard for Marvel, and it
Yeah.
was the Avengers movie that came out. That was a higher standard for me. But it was my own
Honestly,
house, and I
that might
walked out.
be that might be the most pleasantly surprised with a movie I've ever been. I think we watched that, and I was expecting it to be dog shit. I was like, oh,
Did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys enjoy it because it was so bad and you enjoyed it?
No, completely unironically. It had a lot of heart. It was funny. The characters were well done.
Best version of the characters I've seen on screen.
Yeah,
seriously, in terms of the dynamic and the family.
Actually, thought was great.
There are some horrendous bits in it, the special effects part, but overall, really good. In the comments, this is in response to you, Mr. Keegan, with the Baraduke, Fuzzy. You're mental. Yeah. Jonah Hex, I've still not seen that. Either of you guys seen it?
I saw it in the cinemas. I remember. I was looking forward to that because I liked Josh Brolin at the time, and Megan Fox was super sexy at the time. And I remember hearing about, it's a cowboy, like a dark cowboy kind of Ghost Rider thing, and it was not good at all.
Just you mentioned there, the second Ghost Rider movie is pretty ropey.
Yeah, I got 5 minutes in and I had to turn it off. I thought it was crap. Yeah,
The Spirit. I've never watched.
I haven't watched. Frank Miller directed that, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Actually directed the movie. Yeah, I think so.
Green Lantern put me in a deep depression for me.
I thought it was okay. It didn't bother me at all.
I thought it was fine as well. I don't hate that movie like people do.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan. Fan. Blues Brothers 2000. Yeah. I learned an important lesson that day. Yeah. Not a good one. Transformers, Fuzzy, I'm absolutely with you. For the simple reason that it wasn't my Transformers. Hearing the stuff that they made Prime say and things like that, it just wasn't for me. How dare you, Heroes for Hire? That movie is
completely agree. Dog shit. What did I say in our review, Peter? It might be the worst movie I've ever seen. Yeah, it might be the worst
Heroes
movie
for Hire over on Triple J Comics. We've got a series called I Can View This All Day, and we'll review that exact movie. And me and James disagree slightly on it. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Spider-Man 3.
I liked Spider-Man 3 at the time, and I still think it's pretty good.
I enjoyed Tron. I thought Tron 2 was pretty good. But a lot of people didn't like it. I know that. Spider-Man 3 was such a mess. Too many villains in one movie. Yeah, can't disagree with that.
Joker great movie.
Don't get it. Still not seen it.
I think another one super disappointed, Last Jedi. Where that was like across the board, every review, 10 out of 10, 5 stars, the best Star Wars movie, went in, this is going to be amazing. And when it ended, me and all my mates looked at each other and were just like, did you like it? No, I didn't
loved
like it either. And then, I really, really didn't like it. And then we were like confused because it was a weird feeling of not liking a Star Wars movie. And I was like, it was in retrospect, I think it's better than I gave it credit for.
Fuzzy saying the Joker's a really interesting one because the Joker's a one that people just absolutely gushed over. And I'm like, Fuzzy, it was all right, but I don't think it was worth the plaudits it got and the kind of because it's elevated to being like almost perfection. It wasn't for me, I have to say. Yeah. Bat Dan says he loved Tron Legacy. I enjoyed it, in the soundtrack by Daft Punk, The Matrix relook. What was the latest Matrix one? Was that
Resurrections?
Resurrection. That was pretty ropey as well. Okay, that's what up to speed, Efren.
I think. These are the last set of questions. These are the bonus questions. You guys ready? This is mine. If you could go to any theme park, which one would it be? I just finished watching. They have Disney behind the scenes, and they were talking about Shanghai. I think it is Disneyland. And specifically the Pirates of the Caribbean ride that they did, it looks so fantastic. Like the boat almost seems like it's going underwater. I think that's a theme park that I would go
to. I've done Disney and I've done.
See, I haven't.
Hollywood
so Disney World is my first choice. Galaxy's Edge and all that crap.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo World in Japan be a really cool one.
I
Yeah.
Or
don't know.
Universal. I think I'd love Universal as well.
Yeah.
If you ever go to Universal, go to the one in Florida. Don't go to the one in California by LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's way better the one by Florida. Definitely.
I'll probably never get to go to Florida unless I tag along on one of Peter's family holidays.
Yeah.
Just bring me his suitcases. He's on holidays, get away from me. Like,
Decent size suitcase.
Tag along. I'll meet you guys there.
No, I have to say, I love Disney, but I'm happier at Universal. So I think I would probably go to the Marvel Islands and stuff over at that.
Yeah.
I would just.
I love Star Wars Land. I love.
That's exactly Galaxy's Edge. I will just lose my shit there. Like I want 3 days of just at that. Like,
yeah, very, very cool. Good question. People just saying, Gulliver's at Matlock's Bath. Not heard of that one, Dan. Not heard of that one. The new Universal Park coming to Orlando looks insane. Yeah, that's all the Universal monsters and things as well. That looks amazing. Nintendo coming to Universal.
It's called Emerald Park now, Phil. Actually,
we've got Diggerland not far from me, which is JCB Diggers, and you actually get in a giant digger and you sit in the kind of the bit that scoops dirt up and it swings around. Tremendous. Took the kids.
Isn't that a construction site you're talking about?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I wanted to go theme park in Disney World, but I would go bankrupt doing it. Yeah, but it's well worth a visit just to look around. Universal is amazing. Great question, Efren.
Yeah. This is let me see. James, I put you second because I like Peter's question at the end is a good one.
I don't like my one. Okay.
No, I was about to say not that yours isn't or mine. So go ahead.
As a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
God, I don't even remember being a kid. So
no. When I was younger, I jumped back and forth to different. I wanted to be a fireman at one point. I remember that. And then I remember seeing Hot Fuzz, and I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be like a armed response. And that didn't work out.
I wanted to be a comic book artist. I wish I could draw. I mean, that's like me and James co-host Peter's drawing contest show because I can't draw worth crap.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to be an artist. I thought it was the most fantastic thing being a comic book artist. That would be my choice.
Peter, do you always want to be a nurse?
No, I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be an actor at first, and then I wanted to be a policeman, and then I wanted to be an astronaut, and then I ended up doing this. Yeah.
I think you fell backwards on your feet, though. I think
Fuzzy wanted to be a girl. There's still time, Fuzzy. There's still time. Not in the NHS.
There is time. Yeah.
Phil wanted to be.
Peter will be your nurse if you're a girl. So
I've got scissors and all kinds of stuff made. We can make it happen. Heroes wanted to be Batman. I think we all wanted to be Batman. Yeah. Phil, you're basically an actor. Yeah.
Damn good one.
Boobs in it. Yeah, exactly, Fuzzy. You could just spend all day just sitting looking, couldn't you? It would be amazing. Yeah. I wanted to be on the cast of SNL. I would love to have been able to do. I mean, I did amateur dramatics and stuff like that.
Good choice.
But I would love to have been able to do kind of stand-up comedy and stuff like that.
I would just crack completely as soon as I open my mouth on stage. I just wouldn't be able to do it at all. I just forget every word of my routine.
Von Hoot, I wanted to be a detective when I was a little kid. Otherwise, I wanted to direct in my teens. Yeah, very cool. Feels like me. Doesn't need to be a girl. He's got booze. Pete and I can vouch.
No. Video game designer. I wanted to make games as well. When I used to go around with a little like journal and write down game ideas. But the games are like, if you look at it now, it's like this is so unrealistic to make. Like you couldn't, it's so ambitious. Like you couldn't make a game like that. Like.
Dead Man Terry wanted to be in the army, but my dad talked me out of it. Said I would spend all my time in the glass house because I would have asked why every time I was given an order. Yeah, I was in the cadets for a number of years, and then I got my commission. So I was an officer in the RAF Reserves for years and years. So I'm well used to all that uniform shenanigans and bullshit. Okie dokie. That's all the comments.
Okay, this is the last question. Besides, then we have a bonus segment, one more segment after this. So, Peter, you're up.
And this is for the chat as well. Best sandwich. Best sandwich. I'm channeling my inner Fuzzy. He likes to ask with pie-based questions, so I'm going for sandwich. Now I'm gonna tell you mine first, but I'm not really because I don't know what it's called, Efren. So I'm going to rely on you. I don't know if it's called a New York deli sandwich or something like that, but it's very thinly sliced pastrami with gherkins and then quite often a bit of sauerkraut.
Oh, Reuben.
Reuben, yeah,
Reuben.
Reuben.
I'm very tempted to agree with you, Peter. I think a Reuben is good shit. Like,
I like a Reuben. I do like a Reuben.
I don't think I ever had a Reuben sandwich.
You've never had a Reuben?
No.
I went to when I was in New York, Cat's Deli, got a dirty Reuben. It's half pastrami, half corned beef. To die for. Like, it was a meal. The entire sandwich was a meal.
In the States, is corned beef the same as our corned beef?
No, it's different. Our corned beef sucks compared.
Ours comes in a tin covered in jelly.
Yeah, it's not the same. Yeah. What about you? Yeah, Efren? I want to go last.
So after I used to go visit my mom in San Francisco, and there was this local sandwich shop that basically he worked out of a house, and it was called Ike Sandwiches, and it was only minutes
I've heard of it.
only minutes away from where my mom used to live and where I grew up at. And I went there, and he has expanded since then. He's all over California. I think he's in other states too, little by little. Just a startup sandwich shop, and it has one of the best sandwiches. If you guys ever come here to visit me in San Diego, I will take you there.
Yeah.
He named a lot of the sandwiches after like actors and sports characters. I mean, sports players in the San Francisco Bay Area. He has one called the Wolverine. But he has one called, but my favorite was the Madison Baumgartner. It's steak. When Peter put this question, I had time to think about it, so I have it written down. It was steak, yellow barbecue sauce, habanero, pepper jack, American cheese. It's really good sandwiches, guys. I got to take you there. He's got a list of sandwiches, and it's really good. My daughter loves that place. It's called Ike Sandwiches.
We'll do that when we come over. I mean, I had, when I used to work on the nursing home, there was a little deli shop around the corner from where, and they had something called a turkey nut crunch, which I loved. It was a poppy seed bun, and it was slices of turkey, and then celery, and then mayonnaise, and then peanuts. And it sounded weird, but it was absolutely lush. It was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Are you going for Reuben, James, or have you got another one?
Reuben's up there. Like a classic breakfast roll. I think like here you got good breakfast roll, good like so sausage, like pudding, egg, bacon, ketchup. Oh, gorgeous. I like an now fried chicken sandwich. So like with some like buffalo sauce and blue cheese dressing and lettuce, tomato. I think that's a classic as well. I like wraps. I put them in wraps. Does a burrito count as a sandwich?
Well, does a hot dog count as a sandwich?
I think a hot dog does.
Efren, hot dog sandwich?
No, I don't know about it. I mean, in my opinion, a sandwich is bread. You know, 2 slices of bread. You know, between the meat. But that's my opinion of a sandwich.
Yeah. Sorry, my favorite sandwich, club sandwich. So like chicken, bacon, mayo, lettuce, tomato, the slice of bread in the middle. You got a fried egg in there. Divine.
Fried egg?
Yeah, fried egg. No, you don't.
Boiled egg.
No, fried egg, Peter.
It's a boiled egg.
Excuse me. It's whatever I say I want on the thing, and it's a fried egg.
Friggin' animal.
Yeah.
Have you guys? This is not a sandwich, but just me thinking of food. Have you guys ever had a fish taco?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Lovely. Yeah. Okay. Very nice.
What was that thing we had in Belfast? Because I really liked that first time I'd had it. And we dipped it in the little sauce thing.
Oh, birria. Oh, birria tacos.
Oh, birria?
Birria.
Oh, yes. Oh, guys, when you guys come down here, I'm going to take you to so many freaking taco shops, man. You're going to overload it, man.
I can't wait.
The best, man.
I cannot wait.
That's
got me more excited now.
Look at Keegan's little face. He's salivating. Look at him. Let's jump.
I'm going to take all kinds of shops.
Dead man saying pastrami on rye. Yeah. Reuben. Lots of people liking the Reuben. Oh, Phil, that's a thing of dreams. Sandwich. Efren, have you ever had a crisp sandwich?
I didn't know what it is.
Potato chip sandwich.
So
a potato chip sandwich.
Oh, okay.
So have you ever made a sandwich with just potato chips on it?
Not just potato chips. I've added potato chips to my sandwiches, but not just potato chips.
So
butter and potato chips.
Well, I do potato sandwich. I get like a really soft white slice pan, and I put salad cream on Heinz salad cream, and then potato, cheese, and onion. And trust you, look at me weird, Pete. Trust me. It's
Wait a
good.
minute. Are you talking about potato? That's potato, right? Chips?
Yeah, so Tato is an Irish brand of potato chips.
Okay.
It's a very famous
Every now
brand.
and then-
of potato chips.
When I have these inquisitive looks when you guys are talking, like, what the hell are they talking
So like
about?
Tato, cheese and onion is the flavor. Tato, cheese and onion.
It's a brand. Basically,
Oh,
what we're
okay.
saying, have you ever had a potato chip sandwich?
No.
No, you've never lived.
What's a Belfast bap?
I beg your pardon?
A Belfast bap.
I think we met someone called that when we were there. Didn't we? I don't know. I don't know.
Belfast.
Phil saying Cat's Deli killed me.
I stuffed something I had to eat.
Philly cheesesteak, that's a good shout. I like
a
a
good
Philly
one.
cheesesteak
Yeah.
as well. I'm obsessed with cheese sandwiches right now. So a toasted cheese melted would be top of it. Yeah, I like a good toasted cheese sandwich. Maybe really good. Do you know what I like, Von Hood? This is a weird question, but we're getting very excited about it. Did you have one of those old cheese toasty machines that you put the bread in the cheese and then you shut it? And it's like it makes the edges of the cheese toasty dead crunchy.
Oh, like
That's
is it?
what it is.
It's like triangles it into.
Yeah,
different-
like
yeah.
yeah. But I like just the corners, and then it's
Yeah.
always like magma in the middle. You know,
Oh,
like
it's like
spirits
lava.
burns your mouth.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything plus melted cheese.
Melted
Yeah,
cheese,
melted
yeah,
cheese
yeah.
is a good one. Not a sandwich. I'm getting all juicy in my mouth. A Jamaican patty. Don't know what a Jamaican patty is.
Never heard of that.
I
I
Never
think
know
it's,
what that is.
Here in the United States, or at least in California, they've been selling more and more of them. Shops and sort of. You guys ever heard of smash burgers?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one in Dublin now called Dash Burger. A Jamaican patty is like a Cornish pasty kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we have
Smash
a place called
Burger.
Dash Burger now. It's like a smashed. It's so good,
Okay.
tasty.
Yeah.
as
Is
well.
it just a squashed burger? The smash
Basically.
burger.
Like flattened, really thin.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Crispy. I was just talking burgers. There was something on Instagram today about a place in America that reckons they haven't changed the burger grease in 100 years. They've been cooking the burgers in the same, and apparently it gives the burgers a lovely flavor. You dirty bastards! I wouldn't be touching that.
Well, they
100
strain
year
it.
old
They
grease.
strain it every. Yeah, but like, how much of that is actually the original grease, though? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna take you guys to In-N-Out burgers. They are really good. You know, they're just
I'm dying to
really-
try it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
In-N-Out.
there's one like
Belly buttons.
In-N-Out. Yeah.
Marks
Pete,
and
we're
Spencer's.
gonna be eating the entire. We're gonna be like
Eating.
stone heavier coming back.
Yeah.
We're eating
Yeah.
the entire
Yeah,
time.
it's gonna fly back like I don't
I'm,
know.
I'm a fan of IHOP as well, Alfred. So we gotta.
Oh
my
my
I-
God.
I love IHOP.
I'll drop you off there.
Marks and Spencer's do an awesome pastrami sandwich with thinly sliced cheese.
do,
and pickles. I'm starving. A good Canadian cheese.
Gotta go pick
Um,
up some pastrami tomorrow.
Breakfast roll can help get over a hangover. Absolutely. Sausage, butty, brown sauce, chip butty, ordered crisp sandwich, traditional classics. Good ones, fuzzy.
I like a
absolutely
chip
good.
butty now. I have to say.
We get the standard debate about square sausage. It's easy. So many taco shops, you're going to have the runs. I just wanted to try one of Britain's famous sausage rolls, but I've never been out of it. Yeah, the sausage rolls, mate, are a classic. Lovely. The vegan sausage rolls are surprisingly nice as well.
Yep.
Um,
You wouldn't know the difference.
fuzzy. So salad
A
cream.
minker. Is that a slur? A minker?
That's a Scottish phrase, I'm sure. The
Yeah.
Belfast.
A Belfast. A Belfast Bep.
Jesus, it's delicious. So it is. Need to try it with your crisps. Breville, that's what it's called, Fuzzy. That's the machine, isn't it? A cheese toasting machine was a staple of my childhood. Absolutely love the things.
Do you have? Would you, if you were making a grilled cheese, Efren? If you were wondering, if you were making a cheese toasty, just cheese, would you have any sauce? Or just butter?
I would have onion in it.
Onion in it,
cheese
and onion.
And I would
Okay.
now
I
and then,
agree. Yeah.
Like a bit of
Add
onion.
something to a cheese sandwich. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it a
if
little
I'm
more
feeling
tastier.
flush, I may put a little bit of Branson pickle in there.
Very nice. My nanny used to make us cheese on toast, and she put Worcester sauce.
Oh yeah,
sauce.
Worcester
It's
sauce
actually
and
quite
cheese.
good. It's quite good. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. And Dead Man, Wendy's. I love Wendy's. Wendy's is a great burger joint.
I don't know if
With
I've had
square
Wendy's.
burger and a round bap. Like Wendy's.
We're
is a
getting a
lovely
Wendy. We're getting a Wendy's here at some point. Can't wait.
Yeah. Wendy's do a good burger. I remember enjoying them when I was over in the States.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's enough Samish talk. That's more.
That was
time
the
to
last
spend on-
question. So yeah, that was a good question too. I love all these questions. This was a good segment of all
We
questions.
need to do a show where we just talk about food
Yeah.
because
Like right now?
it always goes on for an hour. Like whenever we talk about food.
Eggy bread. Have you guys had eggy
That's a
bread?
good one.
Efren,
Yep.
have you had eggy bread?
I don't know what that is.
Basically
well, I know
French-
Alex's bread.
It's like French
French
toast,
toast.
but not sweetened.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like,
Is it-
imagine you do French toast, but you don't add cream. You just dip bread and egg
Bread.
and fry it. I have it with
Bread
ketchup.
soup.
No,
Yeah.
no like syrup on it or anything.
No,
You can put
no,
syrup on it if you want to.
Yeah.
You can do.
No. No,
Yeah.
English
Maple
people
syrup.
don't use syrup.
I put ketchup on mine.
Of course you do.
Yeah. good.
I tell you what, I'm never getting away with, and again, Efren, you might not know what these are. Savaloys.
I don't know what that is either.
You ever had a Savaloy? Friends of mine used to eat Savaloys. It's like a sausage, but it's like an indestructible, luminous red coating. It's a bit like a hot dog, but with like an even thicker red coating around the outside. Horrible friggin' things. Let
So
us
you
know
like-
in the chat if you've heard of a Savaloy. Or if I've
Do you like
got
spam?
friends- No, I don't eat spam.
I
Do you like
used to.
spam? Yeah,
I used to.
I've had it
but I don't eat
because-
anymore.
I had it like I got one a couple months ago just to try it, and it was like actually not bad. When you fry it, it's actually quite nice.
My
salty.
friend used to make. My friend used to make spam sushi. You know?
Yeah, that's why I got that. I had it in a restaurant, spam
Yeah.
sushi. I was like, oh, this is
Yeah,
nice. So I got some
yeah,
spam.
It's
fried
good.
it.
Yeah.
Put it in a carbonara. It's good.
I
Von-
think you're talking about ketchup and eggs. I put ketchup on all my eggs. So
Yeah.
to me, I just really enjoy it like that. You know?
Yeah, ketchup. Always ketchup
Yep.
at breakfast.
Yep.
Von
Looks
who
like a
says a
sausage.
Savaloy looks like a dog steak.
Okay.
Phil doesn't understand the States. Syrup with bacon and fried chicken.
It's
Yeah,
I always thought until I went to America, I always thought maple syrup on like scrambled eggs was a weird thing. But try it. Like it's so good. It's like
yeah.
pancake with scrambled eggs and bacon, just syrup all over it. It's delicious.
Spam, bacon, spam.
You guys are gonna come. You guys are gonna go home with a big old stomach ache.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
When
good.
what were they eating or talking about when we were away, James? An egg in a cup. What was all that about again?
So we were in this diner kind of thing. We were having dinner, and they were telling us, "Oh, you ever have an egg in a cup?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "An egg in a cup. You put an egg in a cup, and you cook the egg, and then you mash it up in the cup with butter."
Yeah.
I was like, "Why? You're just adding another step where you have a cup now. You have to clean. You not just eat the egg."
So it wasn't
Yeah.
like scrambled egg. It was just the egg.
No,
and then
you boil. My understanding was you boil an egg, and then you put the egg into a mug or a cup, and you mash it up with butter, and then
egg
I asked you to
mayonnaise.
put it on toast, and they said no. You just eat it out of the cup.
Hmm.
Bizarre.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Let's move
Yeah.
on. Let's move on, Efren.
hot
We
sauce and eggs
have-
is also good.
One last segment. This just came out minutes before we went on the air, so to speak. I told the guys,
Connie's just
Oh,
joined
I
me.
didn't-
Efren.
wandered
Connie,
in and over
you've
space
you've missed kind of peak internet conversation.
Connie, do you eat your eggs in the cup variety? Let us know.
I
Do
reckon.
you eat egg in a cup?
Connie, what's your favourite sandwich? Tell her in the chat. What's your favourite sandwich? And a hot dog doesn't count. We've established that.
Yes, it does. We said it does.
Efren disagreed.
No,
and
I don't
A
think
hot dog
so.
is a
I'd say-
sandwich.
I believe in Efren more than I believe in
I
you.
would
Efren-
argue a burger is
Efren
a
has
sandwich
said
too.
no.
Are you
No,
called
no
chicken
way,
burger?
man.
Okay, is there
They're
such
their
a
own
thing?
entities.
Efren, is there such a thing as a chicken burger?
Yeah. Oh no, chicken sandwich.
You
dropped it in that one. Come on, Connie's confirming that you do not eat eggs.
I changed my mind.
Goes on toast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eggs in a cup,
Okay.
madness, absolute madness.
Yeah.
Right, how are then, Efren? Let's.
We
Washington's
have,
not
we have a bonus segment, guys. This just came out minutes before we went on the air, and I go, "Hey guys, here's the link to the video." So we're going to talk about it briefly. You guys ready?
Good.
Thunderbolts coming out next year. It coming out May 2nd. You know. So did you guys see the video right when I sent you the link?
Yeah,
to
so the
it?
trailer.
Okay, good. I loved it. I thought it was entertaining. It reminded me, and I know it's just a trailer. They focused on the actress. I forgot her name, Yelana, I believe her first name is.
Pew, Florence Pugh.
Pew,
I
pew.
think Pew. Yeah, they focused on her. Seems like more than the other characters.
Yeah,
which
she's
is
the
like
lead
main-
character here. I think
She's the lead character. I thought it would be Bucky, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. The only character I didn't like is on the left-hand side, Sentry. I don't know. This guy's personality in the comic books was so fractured. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do with him in this movie.
I'm
But
assuming this is
overall,
like a
I like the trailer.
pre-activation thing. He's very meek
Maybe.
and a pushover
even-
until he gets his powers or whatever.
But even when he had his powers in the comic books, man, he was so fractured. He was
Yeah,
just
he's crazy.
self-doubt. They didn't do his character justice in the comic books, at least. So even
So-
looking at that picture of him, I don't know about that character.
Can I just jump this off a second? Because Fuzzy's popped it in the chat and I just wanted to mention this. Fuzzy sent this to us and you've used the same image, Efren. Interestingly, Fuzzy, I've been looking for the same image. So I was surprised Efren had it. It's been cropped on all of the news outlets I've seen. Just look at the Sentry's hands.
Oh, he's got 6 fingers. Yes,
Yeah.
I noticed that. Yeah.
The Sentry doesn't have 6 fingers in the comics.
No.
And
Is
the
that
feed-
just a
the image-
mistake?
The image is now being cropped so you can't see the last fingers. I think this is an AI generated image.
Oh Christ!
Yeah. So Fuzzy sent us that, and I didn't notice it myself, and then pointed it out. Yeah, I think it's an AI generated.
Because it's a cool poster.
I got mine off of Instagram. I think I got it directly from Marvel
Yeah.
Studios, if I remember
Yeah.
right.
Oh, this is an
Yeah.
official poster. We've seen
Yeah.
this from.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So now, when like I say, when I did a quick Google looking for one, they've cropped the poster so you can't really see the hand and whatnot. But yeah, it's just bizarre. So I don't know if it's AI used or if it's just a balls up or what, or if he's got 6 fingers in the movie for some reason. I don't think the Sentry's got 6 fingers, from what I understand.
I don't think so. I think it's just a mistake with the poster. But AI does sound like an answer to that. But that's
Very odd. Very odd.
Yeah.
But I thought the trailer was brilliant. I really, really enjoyed it. More than I expected to, if I'm being really honest. I like this collection of characters as well, so I'm looking forward to it. What did you think, James?
yeah. The dynamic between them is what's going to be the charm of the movie, and I think like the trailer showcases off well. Them kind of reluctantly working together looks really fun. It seems to be out of like desperation, like they're all on someone's shit list and they're trying to get them killed. So I thought it was cool. Like they're all kind of none of them are bad guys, but they're kind of all broken people or people who've done bad things. So I think that's like a thing you can kind of bond over. That was an interesting part of the trailer. Taskmaster, just like nothing. I feel nothing. Why is that character kind of here? I think he could have had another cooler option for it, But yeah, I'm like seeing it. I'm like, also it just feels like new Marvel thing. Cool. Like I think that I was just kind of like, it came out today. I wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh, there's a Thunderbirds trailer, and I watched it. And I was like, this looks cool. I'm excited for this.
I like the subtitle, "Careful Who You Assemble."
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. It's a tale of Avengers Assemble. That was pretty cool. So I have high hopes. So hopefully it'll be a good show, a movie.
We've got lots of comments about it. Before we get to that, Connie's confirming favorite sandwich probably is ham and cheese. Just
So
being
basic.
Very
Any relish or anything on
cheap
it?
date. Yeah.
I used to love ham sandwich when I was a kid. I used to eat that for years and years and years. Man. Something about a ham sandwich is,
I feel like an American ham sandwich is probably nicer than
I'm not sure.
because here it's just white
don't know.
bread.
The American
Whatever.
food,
That's all I had.
the American food agency are very lax, James. It'll be all kinds of it'll be radioactive or something.
It tastes nice though.
Yeah, well, it will taste nice, but it'll
It's
give
nice,
you,
yeah.
tooth rotten cancer or something.
Okay, yeah.
It was a really strong trailer. I'm surprised Bucky wasn't front and center, though. Yeah, that surprised
Me too.
But then again, I guess Florence is very popular at the moment.
Chibu.
So, yeah, and she's great. I can't believe they gave Bucky that sick haircut. And we're going back to bitch ass Bob Bucky. Wow. Still hot though. Still hot. The Asterix, what do you think that's all about? Because that is odd, isn't it?
Well, they're being coy, but like, what could it mean? Do you know what I mean? What's the secret
Do you
to
think
it?
there's something coming that when they release it, there's going to be something added onto that title.
No, I just feel like in the movie there's going to be a bit where someone types the word Thunderbolts and there's an asterisk and an explanation of who they are or something.
Yeah.
So it's just like a style thing. I don't know why they're being so coy about it. You know, I don't think there's going to be a big revelation or anything.
Yeah, it just makes no sense to me. Connie's excited to see more John Walker. Yeah, I really enjoyed John Walker in the
series.
in the Falcon series. And Fuzzy Ghost does nothing for me, nothing at all.
I like the actress. I like her powers, so I'm excited to see. And I liked her in. She was my favorite part of Ant-Man and the Wasp, so I'm excited to see more of her.
That's all the comments.
I think we are done, guys. So this has been Comic Talk, where we ask each other 3 questions each. I really like this. It was a good segment to the good episode. I like all I liked all the comments from everybody. Thanks a lot for joining. So hopefully we will be back with this Comic Talk in about a month or so, whenever I can get the guys together. They're always so busy doing their own things on their own channels. So, but thanks for showing up, everybody. Let me get the let me get the video here if I can find it. You can see I'm an amateur at this. But until next time, everybody, go out and buy a comic book and read it. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.